And usually we played games sometimes. You talk about a lot of the games we used to play. We used to play a card game called Flinch. As I got older, we played a lot. We played pitch a lot, which was a faster game. Played checkers.
Who'd you play with?
I had 8 cousins who lived 2 houses from us.
Fun.
So I could go up there and play all I wanted with kids. If I wanted to be alone, I'd go home.
Good deal. Mom, what'd you do after school? Chores.
I don't, yeah. Washing dishes, making beds. No, we didn't do a lot. When I was school age, we didn't have a lot of free time to do stuff. When I was little, probably like Aubrey, 7 or 8, my younger brother would catch toads underneath the porch, and I would make clothing for them.
For the toads?
Yeah, for the toads. And wonder why they couldn't hop because their dresses were hanging over. And we used to play, my younger brother and I used to play house a lot on the front porch. And
Fun.
my older brothers, I can remember them playing. We didn't have a lot of toys because we were what we considered poor. They would build farms and they would go to my father's toolbox and get the big spikes and they'd put them in the yard, stick them in the grass to make fences. And I remember one time they had this huge farm all built with these great big spike nails, and they didn't pick them up, and my father ran over with the lawnmower. He wasn't very happy.
I bet not. That hasn't changed. Okay, another question from someone. Merrick.
Were films your only kind of entertainment?
What?
Films.
Films?
Were they your only kind of entertainment?
No.
And was that your whole family that would go watch the films?
Well,
Grandma and Grandpa too?
on Saturday, all the neighbor kids.
Oh,
And the neighbor kids. And then to the big feature.
Block because that was our big form of entertainment.
It was a major form of entertainment.
Back then, yeah.
Yep.
We played outside, of course, after school sometime. During the summer, we played Monopoly sometimes, which was a long, long game. People got tired of it. Back in the early 40s, after the World War II started, we used to get little boats and little airplanes, and we would play
War.
with out there. We played Cowboys and Indians. We lived in town, but we had a it was an airport in Newark. It was up in the backyard, we might say almost. It was about a couple, 300 yards away from us. So we had very easy, big spaces to play with because we had very few airplanes doing anything there, except on weekends when the people could afford to take some time to play. But we had that, and we had a big gravel pit too between our house and the airport. And we used to play over there, the Cowboys and Indians. We had little woods that was up probably a quarter of a mile away from us. We used to go up there and play Cowboys and Indians quite often.
Mom, you didn't have films that much.
No.
Not in the
And
30s.
and we didn't go to the movies. I remember in grade school, we had a little local theater in town. And in grade school, I think it cost like a quarter. We brought a quarter to school, and we went on a class trip down to the theater. We walked down to see the movie Tom Sawyer. And I remember my mother took me to see The Little Princess, I think it was a Shirley Temple movie. And then when my next to the youngest brother was born, he was born at home, and our fathers took my father and my uncle, whose Aunt Agnes's husband was being nursed for my mother. So the two guys took the kids to the theater to see The Wizard of Oz in 1939, and those were the first 3 movies I ever remember seeing, and I don't think I saw another one until I was in college.
Interesting. So, another question. Bronwyn,
What kind of food did you eat?
What kind of what?
Food.
What kind of food?
What was common everyday food and
Oh,
what
we
times?
We had plenty of food because we lived on the farm. We had all kinds of vegetables, homegrown, and my mother used to bake bread and.
Every day?
Well, she'd bake a couple times a week and enough bread so that we'd have it for the week.
Stews, meats, what did you
We
have?
ate meat, we ate vegetables, potatoes, macaroni.
What was your favorite meal that Grandma made?
Oh my goodness.
What was Grandpa's?
We had, and my father also had chickens, so we had a lot of chicken. And he also, oh, that's another thing. My father also, in addition to being a fruit farmer, he raised chickens for the market in Rochester. And he had an incubator in our basement that from like February to April, he would hatch in there 350 baby chickens every week. And we'd have to carry them out to the brooder house, and then when they got old enough, they would separate the broilers from the hen chickens. And the broilers would go into the market in Rochester for selling on the city market. And the hens, or the girl chickens, he would put in we had 2 levels in our huge barn that were chickens. So we had lots of chickens and lots of eggs.
And how did Grandma cook the chicken? Fried chicken?
Not usually baked chicken.
Baked.
Well, I guess probably fried, not deep fried, but baked or boiled,
With potatoes.
and potato.
Daddy, how about you? What
A
did
lot of
you?
fruits and vegetables.
Well, during the summer, we had lots and lots of greens. We had beet greens, Swiss chard, and all sorts of things like that. In the wintertime, as far as fruit, we had carrots, which were in the ground yet, and we left them there and then pulled them out as you needed them. But we had a lot of beef, I guess you'd say, because my uncle on the farm had several beef cattle. He had been a dairy farmer, and about 1939 or 40, the market began to open up for Black Angus. And he got tired of taking care of the milk cows every day, so he got rid of all of them and bought a big herd of Black Angus. So we did get a quarter of the beef every year, and that was a lot of our main stipend. Had a lot of fish, your codfish and little wooden boxes that were salt cod with potatoes and creamed potatoes and the codfish.
We didn't eat seafood, very seldom.
And salmon.
did we eat seafood.
Well, I was brought up Catholic, so on Friday we had fish.
Yep.
So we had salmon and cod. I never had tuna fish unless I went to a family reunion. And never had mayonnaise, always had salad dressing. And I could never figure out why I liked my relatives' potato salad better than my mother's. It was because I liked the saltier flavor of the mayonnaise.
The mayonnaise. So your mom did all the cooking.
She did all the cooking, yeah. We had not a lot of, we had pasta, we had baked like macaroni. She used to make goulash quite often. And she'd make it in a great big bowl, so we'd have enough, if I wanted to come back and have a snack later in the evening, I could walk in and help myself to that.
And we tuna fish was the one seafood we did eat. My mother used to, when it was on special, she'd buy a whole case of it. Because there were 4 of us all in school, like fourth, third, second, and kindergarten, or, at the same time, and we had lots of tuna fish sandwiches in our lunch.
Okay.
Never had lunch from the cafeteria, never. Costs too much.
Another question, Jameson.
What did you swim in?
What did
we
you
want?
swim in? Where did you go swimming?
We didn't.
Okay.
Lake Ontario.